After my Christmas light show, which you see I've already taken the Christmas lights out because they didn't last. They were cheap ones and they just kind of died. But anyway, a lot of people commented on how great my cage was and that, and you were going to get a full view of it. So now that I just cleaned the cage, I thought this would be a good time to give you a little tour. Now, I designed this cage with my boars in mind and cleaning in mind. So you see here I've got a loft with little stairs that I built for it because they didn't seem to like the ramps very much, and honestly the ramps take up too much room, and the stairs work quite well, and they've got like little bits of carpet on them. And then from my CNC cage days I had this, I'm not sure what you call this, awning here, so I put that over top, and so you see it makes a nice little loft up here, and a lot of times I'll find Smidge sleeping in that bed up there. And it's movable too, it doesn't stay there, so it's easy to clean underneath. I just lift it out of the cage when I'm doing a clean. And this is kind of Groot's favorite pocket to go to. And you'll see he's already down there with his buddy Cupcake. And I just put a little extra fleece in there because right now Groot's on some medication, which makes him poop a little bit more, if that's possible. So just to make the cleaning a little easier. So I use fleece. I'm a big fan of the Guinea Dad fleece. You'll see I've got other layers of fleece underneath, like the hideys and stuff. And that is just because for spot cleaning that makes it much easier, because I just pick them up and then I can dump them. And that's the majority of the spot cleaning I need to do during the week. And I do a full clean every weekend. So basically this is one big square. Okay? And what I did was I added a section in the corner for hay. And we can see that, I'm going to step in here, we can see that Caramel's enjoying some fresh hay that I just put in there. What this is the bottom of an actual cage that it was listed as a rabbit cage, and it has a plastic bottom with the little square holes in it. And just move that over a little bit, you'll see. There's just plastic there. There's usually a layer of hay, so they never go through it. But underneath that, and I can't lift it up right now because of all the hay, underneath that I put puppy pads that soak up any pee and little bits that come through. So cleaning with that is a breeze. I just lift the grate off, I roll them up, throw it away. Once a week I will dump all the remaining hay that's in the bottom there and and then clean the mesh out as well. And this ramp here I put on hinges because you know you're going to get stuff underneath, so I can just lift it up and then I can clean under there as well. I've also used it on occasion if I want to isolate the pigs to what I call the hay barn while I'm cleaning. These hideys that I have were actually listed as hampers at the dollar store, Dollarama, and what I like about them is they just jump in and out. They've got holes on all four sides, which is important when you've got a bunch of guinea pigs so that they don't feel cornered at any time. This is sort of another loft that I built. It was actually part of a desk at one time, and one time I just sat in the cage and they all went under it. So I modified it a little bit, put some sides on it and that. They haven't really gone up there yet, but now I've just modified this hay barn. I cut holes in both sides of the barn so they can get in and out in all directions. And I added carpet here just to kind of match what I did on the stairs over on this side. So I'm hoping now that I've done that, they'll look at his stairs, it's not slippery, and they can actually go right up and into the hut on the top there. And see I've got water bottle here and one on the opposite side of the cage. I like these Living World bottles because they're glass. They don't really catch a lot of bacteria in them, and they're easy to clean. And they don't drip a lot either. It has the carrot to show the level of the water and so on. So I basically mimicked how they were on the cardboard cutout, and I added an extra wood piece here with the spring attachment, and then I fed in the little hook that holds it on the bottom. And see the construction in the cage, what I did wasn't a lot of I didn't get specific wood for it. I had some that, actually this wood that's going all around the sides, this was actually, when I had a previous cage, this was part of the table I'd made as I had it elevated. elevated was such a pain because all the poop and everything always end up underneath it, and I'd have to, you know, basically contort myself to clean underneath there, and it was not fun. Now, what looks like paint on there is actually liquid rubber. It's pet safe, kid safe. So instead of using like a water-based paint, water-resistant paint, I used this liquid rubber was what I could find, and it actually is really good. Because I even covered over some of the seams by just filling it in and then covering it over. And I used some metal ties to grip these together. But I didn't have to. I only painted the areas where, you know, there might be exposure to pee possibly. And for the windows, these are just plexiglass ones. I just basically, I have like, I use 2x4s. Let's show you on the outside here. I use 2x4s on the outside. And then on the inside, I would use these thin boards that I had left over from an old bed, just to mount them into place, because I had seen an episode of one of my favorite channels on Little Adventures, and she had glued hers in, and she came down one morning, and I guess the piggies got a little rough. I knocked the window right out, so that she had it all up there with duct tape. I find this is better, and then I sealed the bottom with silicone in most spots, and I also, in a lot of them, I also ran the liquid rubber down a little bit over top as well, just to add an extra sealant. On the bottom of this black stuff, that is pond tarp. You could use like other kinds of types of flooring, like I'm not sure if it's called linoleum, like they use in kitchens and whatnot, but you can get those rolls, or you use tiles. The only thing I was worried about was seams, is where the pond tarp was quite huge, so I was able to cut it. And I also used it on the bottom of the loft, so you can see it's there. And go over here, it's also there with the sealant, the paint. So it actually makes for a really good home. They seem to really love the size of the place. Stepping out again. And my daughter was a big fan of the door on the Little Adventures video, so I had to make something similar, which was unique for me because I never had to like really shape something and sand something. And just this weekend she put a bunch of her stickers on there. Now originally I had just a hook and eye for the latch here. What was funny is Cupcake, this little guy over here, he figured out how to lift the latch off, and I came out in the morning and he'd open the door. And only because I have some webcams up here where, like, so if I'm traveling, I'm going to be away and I want to track them, I want to see what's going on. I happened to see on the video, because it keeps a certain amount on the disc, I actually saw him with his little hand going over his side. He pulled the latch up and he opened it. Smart little guy. So this was just a sliding clasp that I had kicking around, so I just switched to there and we haven't had problems since. But you see, it opens quite easily. And I just got the little wood thing there for them to go in and out. So I'm doing floor time. I just leave the door open. You can see we just had some floor time. I haven't cleaned up from it yet. And they can just go in and out. So if they want to go back, get some water, get some food, they can just jump in. Or when I'm cleaning the cage, I wait till they all get out and I shut the door so I clean the cage without them getting in the way. So that's pretty much my my cage. It was a lot of work. I have some pictures that I will add on later of the work in progress. And basically, though, the main base, the floor that's underneath all of this Guinea dad fleece, I made it support my weight. It's a pretty solid floor. I mean, it's probably overkill, but I don't do anything halfway, and I want to make sure it was solid. So, but basically, it's all these 2x4s you see here that I used for these columns are going all the way across, and then they're covered over this particle board kind of stuff, but then that's covered with pond tarp, so they don't really have any access to it. Alright, so that's the cage. Any questions? Just ask.